Yo, what's going on? Happy Monday, everybody. It's a new month. It's still holiday time here in the US, but the markets are open, especially on the futures side. As you could see, the S&P 500 futures, are still slowly grinding their way up. I would figure that, by the end of this coming week or maybe next week, we're probably going to get somewhere very close to the high, maybe even take out the high. But then after that, if you kind of coordinate that with where BTC is, we're in a very peculiar area because one thing that I fundamentally believe in, something that I've spoken about before sort of numerous times, is that I truly believe that we are in the midst of a large consolidation structure, very similar to 2019 and 2020. And so, as we're sitting here in September 2nd, 2024, prices of BTC currently sitting at 59,000. Something that I've spoken about not only at this point, but at this point, and even at this point, is that these are probably, lower high structures that you will get to sell and, basically short the market. I didn't really know where you would short and close. Any, like, let's just say 3, 5, 7% move that you get, if you catch it, you're making good money, right? So if you catch, let's just say, anywhere in the middle of this move. So this structure breaks and you catch, let's just say 5, 7% move, right? This area right here, this structure breaks right here and you catch, let's just say this 6, 7% move. And again, this structure breaks a little bit right there and you catch, maybe this 5, 6% move, right? So that's 3 consecutive solid trades that you've had going into this local downtrend that you've been in. Okay, this is a pretty, pronounced downtrend that we have recorded here, right? So what does that tell us about markets in general? Something I want to show you guys that I posted to one of my Discord groups is if you actually historically look at August and September, and this is just Bitcoin historical data, right? Generally, August and September are not necessarily good months, especially September, right? So we should be expecting September to not be the best month, headed into this year, right? So far, we're, pretty much break even or negative 1.9% or whatever we are. Um, you can kind of see that things are improving, let's just say, for the global breadth, meaning the S&P 500, as well as, the MSCI global index, meaning stock markets are looking better, liquidity is looking better. However, that's just, in terms of current seasonality, we don't expect, not only from a Bitcoin seasonality perspective, right? Like I said, more negative months in Bitcoin than positive months. And even the positive months are relatively muted. Like 2023, BTC was up barely 4%, or 2016 and 15, it was up like 5.9 or 2.6, right? But generally, you can see across the board negative months. However, October, you have a pretty solid positive streak of months, right? So that should be a pretty strong expectation going into October. Same thing with the S&P 500. The seasonality really does matter. You could see September historically, for the last 4 or 5 years for the stock market has not necessarily been that great. And even on green months, it's a very muted September, meaning like you have 1.9%, 0.5, and 0.01, sometimes 2%. So point is, we should be expecting September probably to be a little bit choppy. Or if anything, just be really, really cautious, even if you catch some moves to the downside. All right. So that's my general thoughts on, historical seasonality and going into looking at markets in a broader sense. Okay. If we look at the weekly chart, something that I've spoken about once again before is that this structure really, really resembles this structure to me back here in 2019, 2020, if some of y'all were around back then. And I do believe that we're probably somewhere in this area. I don't know exactly where we are in this area, but I would figure that the way the current weekly candle is looking right now, right? That's a very, very strong bearish engulfing weekly candle. Bearish engulfing in that it is a very strong bodied candle, very little wick to the downside, meaning every single buyer that bought in this green candle is, what was basically like either sold in this candle or they're being pressured to sell. And the current weekly candle is probably going to be somewhat of a weird rebound of sorts. As in, it may squeeze back up into this middle area of the weekly candles, but then again, I'm kind of expecting some downside into September, maybe October, but probably more so September, right? So why do I say that? I say that because if we kind of look at other aspects of the market, let's just say even Solana, right? Something I've been speaking about Solana is that this is a very large looking sideways 6 months. And I don't see a way this market is just going to resolve itself straight up, right? I don't think that's going to happen. I think the higher likelihood is this possibly breaks down into September, and then maybe we bottom out somewhere around 80 or $90, possibly 80. And then maybe we begin our big run in November, December, next year, right? I think especially election time because, elections are November 12th or what is it? November, oh, sorry, maybe it's November 7th, something like that. Okay. So November 7th being elections, right? A lot can happen between now and then. But I do think that the market will probably decide, its leg up after the elections. Up until then, it may just be chop, chop, chop. Maybe we break down, maybe we break up. But again, defined range, right? We're still in the middle, rather, we're below the middle of the range or the bottom half of the range, which again is, in my opinion, more bearish for this range than bullish for Solana, right? And again, Solana is probably one of the stronger performing assets of the year. So clearly the market is telling you that something is definitely, off in the market, right? Same thing if we look at things like Ethereum, right? Ethereum looks horrid, really not a good look for ETH. You can make the argument that there's some form of base being created here at 2000, 2200 or whatever. I don't really buy it because this 6 month, structure right here that was developing this, higher lows that broke. Whenever you break a large structure like that, there's usually much more significant downside consequences. And you could make the argument that the consequence was already dealt, which is a 30% drop on ETH, right? That's totally fair. I understand that. But does it mean that we're done here on ETH? I'm not quite sure, right? We are still in a broader multi-year outlook on ETH, still in the middle of this channel, right? So that's good, right? Maybe we bleed down further. I don't know. From here, maybe we go to my very big level, which is like $1,900 or $1,800. Again, that's like a 25% drop from where we are, right? Could things get really, really bad and we wick all the way down here around 14, 1,500? Yes, but I think probably unlikely. So let's just say for now, we stick to a very sort of bold number, which is, $1,900 or $2,000, right? So $2,000 for ETH. If BTC breaks to the downside, right? You guys have seen me kind of draw this chart before. If BTC breaks the downside, my eyes are sort of freshly focused on this area right here, which is the 2024 yearly open, something that Bitcoin loves to do, which is go back to the previous yearly open or the same yearly open and tag that. So back here in 2019, we came very deep into the 2019 yearly open. In 2020 right here, right? So a year later, we tagged that very close to it rather, and then started the next massive run, right? And again, like I said, comparison of 2019 and 2024 are eerily similar, meaning that this large sideways structure that we had is something that we're doing right now, okay? So what should that tell us? This sideways structure gives us the opportunity to build a big, big base. Had it not been for COVID, let's just say COVID didn't happen. Okay, nonetheless, then we would have had still this kind of structure, right? And then maybe from here we would have taken off. So maybe we didn't have this downside right here, this extra selling, but still we had this, almost 230 to 250 days of sideways. So where does that put us if we're supposed to do the same 230-ish days of sideways? That puts us somewhere around October of this year. So that's my general thoughts, right? Like again, sometime in October, or let's just say September, if we really bottom out in September, early October, late September, that could give us that flash, move into 42K, which is again 2024 yearly open. And then from there, we start our next big run up into 2025. However, now this is where things get interesting, because this cycle, in my opinion, is kind of different, right? So some things that I want to talk about is that I do think there's definitely a lot of speculation and meme coin punting and degeneracy that's happened in this market. The market has had a lot of froth in it. And I think that has definitely cooled off. Okay. In the last few months, here's a simple example. Meme coin market cap. Okay. Let's just look at, I don't know. Yeah, let's look at these. Okay. Something as simple as the meme coin market cap, even though these don't necessarily compare to all the meme coinery that's happened over the last, October 2023 to March 2023, what you could generally tell is that in March, the market cap for a lot of meme coins really peaked. And now it's down, 20, 30, 50% in many cases. And in fact, it's down over 70 to 80% in many cases. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make here is that I think the market has generally cooled off on memes. A lot of that froth is gone. Pair that with where the Bitcoin market is, right? Whether it's on a daily chart or a weekly chart, I believe that we are much more closer in time to bottoming. Price-wise, I don't know how aggressive and volatile it's going to get, but time-wise, I think we're much closer to bottoming than not. Okay. Price-wise, again, I don't know if we're just going to go sideways for the next, 1 month and then push up into November or October, November, and December. Right? Same thing over here. It doesn't necessarily have to happen like this. It could just happen like this, where by the end of September or October, we do something like that. Okay. So I do keep my eye on both those situations where, this could happen. But if this sharp drop were to happen, I do think that that would be a very, very positive shakeout for not only the entire industry, but, meme coins at large. I think people will have fully sort of given up on a lot of aspects of meme coins and projects and crypto. And I think that's really the time where the market bottoms, where you have the massive shakeout after, 3, 6, 8 months of sideways. And people generally just say, hey, I'm done, right? Maybe they'll sell the bottom. Maybe they just slowly quit. And then that's when the bottom happens. And then they miss out on the bull run that's about to begin. Okay. Our meme coin, Roaring Kitty, in my opinion, is very perfectly positioned for something just like that. Okay. Something that I spoke about in our Telegram channel, for example, is I see a lot of people nowadays tweeting about base chain. Okay. Why there's more activity, more users, more money coming onto base chain. You can actually do some Dune analytics. Okay. So if you look at some Dune analysis on the base blockchain, okay, so let's just do base mainnet. All right. You see a lot of money flowing into base. You see a lot of activity happening onto base. You see more and more assets being bridged, more and more collateral being presented onto base. What you generally will see over the next few months, in my opinion, is base becomes the sort of go-to, L2 chain on Ethereum. And I think this will spark the next big run. And I think Roaring Kitty is going to be the big beneficiary of that massive, movement of not only money flowing into Base, but users and activity, but more so the fact that Ethereum and Base Chain have to do something, right? Something to revive themselves, something to really show that they're truly, still attracting people and money and users and volume. And I think Roaring Kitty is going to be a direct beneficiary of that kind of activity, right? So our goal for several months, as it has been, is to just simply be active on Base, and sooner or later, easy mode will turn on, right? Even if the market does kind of shit the bed in the next few weeks, I don't think a whole lot will happen bad for memes. You still see people in Roaring Kitty punting like big sizes, people just buying up $2,000-$3,000 worth of Roaring Kitty because why? At this point in the market cap, you are still capable of buying 1 to 2% of the entire float of the market for, I don't know, like $1,500 to $2,000. That's huge, right? You do not get that kind of opportunity in most meme coins. In fact, most meme coins, especially on Base, okay, I don't like to shit on Base a lot, but they've had their fair share of, pump and dumps and rugs, right? It's been a plethora of them. Our coin has been extremely active, not only in a sense of Twitter and Telegram. Like you can kind of see, we have a ton of activities and contests and meme competitions, all kinds of shit going on. We're an extremely active community, guys. And you can see here, if you go to our um, website as well, we have a ton of memes that for several weeks, every week we've created meme contests, and you'll see like all kinds of different themes, different aspects of memes, different Avengers related themes, and money and bull market, and um, Scarface, all kinds of funny shit, right? So this is what meme culture is all about. This is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, engaging, active, lots of memes. And then, of course, on the PFP side, we also see that we've created all these PFPs for people on Twitter to take our PFPs, use them for their own profile picture, and raid with it. So it looks pretty awesome because then when you go to our Twitter feed, like when you start rating, this is how it looks like, right? You see like a bunch of people from our community rating like this, and everybody has these pictures. And then people start wondering, what the heck are these pictures? And then they click on our profile, and then they eventually join our Telegram group. I've talked to many people who have come into our Telegram group simply because of how we raid, simply because how awesome our PFPs are, as well as, how badass of a meme community, meme art we have. So we just continue to be active. We just have fun. Same thing with, Twitter, right? Like if you look at our Twitter, tons of different contests we host, generally giving away USDC for a lot of people who post memes here. And we have a ton of like really, really good stuff for memes. So tons of different contests, activity, cool videos that people make for us. And that's how we really want to keep Roaring Kitty at the forefront of Base Chain, because eventually this money, these users, this volume and activity is going to flow into Roaring Kitty. And at 156K market cap, that's a pretty damn good deal for something that, never was a pump and dump, or the dev, which is me, did not rug, right? A lot of the Base projects did that. And we just stood strong, did our thing, grinded out the last 2 or 3 months where it was brutal to be in the meme coin area. But now, in my opinion, we're on the other side. And I believe we are ready for something like this, which is this area right here that I've talked about, where Wintermute, one of the largest market makers, is coming into Base, and they're building up a massive portfolio and adding a lot of money and market making for meme coins and projects. This is the kind of stuff that we've been waiting for. Now we simply get to just enjoy and benefit, because whoever has loaded up a fat bag of Roaring Kitty, he or she's going to make bank. All right. They're going to make bank because this thing is going to take off like a rocket ship. Okay. let me put on a freaking rocket ship so y'all know exactly what's going on. All right. This is what's going to happen real soon. Okay. Again, not financial advice. You don't need to, buy because I'm telling you to buy or anything. I'm just telling you, look around the base system and see if there's any community as active as ours. If there's any dev as transparent as ours, as our community. And if the holder distribution also, same thing, right? Like the top 20 holders, including myself, majority of us have not sold a single token. We're just hanging out and having a good time in Roaring Kitty because we know this thing is taking off. Okay. So if you want to join in for the ride, all right, come hang out with us. Okay. Come join the Telegram, come join Roaring Kitty, Twitter Spaces, or come hang out in TG and, you know, ask questions and get involved. All right. So in general, those are my thoughts on markets. I do think that I'm going to be a little bit more cautious, probably headed into the remainder of this upcoming week. But then thereafter, whatever happens, like whether it's a sharp sell-off or not, I would probably say that, from there, I'm kind of expecting a bottom and then this massive rocket ship starting real soon. Okay. Um, Really not a whole lot going on in other things. Like, you can kind of see most of their projects are also beat up, whether it's Near or Tau, which is, sort of your AI related project. Ton blockchain, again, one of the up and coming blockchains, still, I would say it's down like almost 30-ish% from the highs. Hasn't really broken down hard. So this one is kind of interesting to keep an eye on. I mean, down massive, right? Down like 70-80% from the highs. Sui, same thing, down over 50 to 60% from the highs. So the reality is, like, everywhere you look, Aptos and Arbitrum and Atom, DGen is down damn near like 94% or something. So everywhere you look, right, things are massively beat up, but it also means like you're about to get a steal. Like I said, with Roaring Kitty, we're down maybe like 60-70% or whatever, but you're getting a steal on these projects, a massive steal. So if you see the people working hard, like our community, and the dev is working hard, and the dev is transparent, and community's kicking ass, um, this is the time to bid when the fear is extremely high. And the market, yeah, it might sell off a little bit more, but I don't think we're going to have another 6 months of a bear market. I think we're actually near the end of the capitulation, which is, either soon or it's already happened. And for me, this is really the time where I start really thinking like, okay, give it about a week. If we don't have, another big shakeout after that, then I just start accumulating and start, bidding up whatever I need to. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. Okay, hope y'all had a informative analysis of my thoughts on markets. Come hang out, like I said, in Roaring Kitty. Our Telegram is extremely active, and we host a lot of competitions for people to earn money and earn tokens. So definitely come hang out in TG. Yeah, and if you do want to follow me on Twitter, right, I do post a lot of like, thoughts about markets in general. My thoughts on, what I think is going to happen, whether it's meme coins or different aspects of the crypto market that I'm looking at. Like, for example, I actually think that, you know, um, memes on Ethereum blockchain are probably going to do better than Solana, right? I think Base will do also really well. But I think, on the ETH side, I think they're going to do extremely well. So that's, another something random that I'm paying attention to. There's also projects that I pay attention to, like, XNet. This is a DPIN project that I've spoken about before. It's on Solana. DPIN is kind of like your um, decentralized, infrastructure style networks, right? Whether it's GPU related or wireless or infra or what have you. There's very unique projects being created, not only on Solana, but on Ethereum. So that's something that you want to be paying attention to, for the next several months. Same thing with DGen. I was super excited about DGen when I started to learn about it several months back. Obviously I bought in a little bit higher, but then slowly averaged down. I've been hedging my position for the last, several weeks. If you go on my Warpcast, I provide updates on my degen position quite frequently. So something that I did is oh, and by the way, I do kind of dox myself, right? Like this is my doxed video of me talking about, Roaring Kitty and what our plans are, and how I think the base chain is going to unfold over the next few months, and where I feel like we're going to benefit for Roaring Kitty over the next few weeks and next few months. So yeah, if you want to sort of, I don't know, see my damn face and hear from me, you can hear from me not only on Warpcast, but on Twitter or Telegram. And that's how I show people I'm extremely active regarding Roaring Kitty, regarding, the crypto markets, right? Because I live and breathe this stuff every single day. So if you have any more questions, like I said, come hang out. But yeah, just real quick on my degen position, something that I've spoken about before. Where is it? The degen position is, oh yeah, there we go. This is like an update that I did, like, 14 days back. Put on some hedges of, as you can see, hedge my entire, degen position with a short. And again, I'm spot long degen, so that's why I had to hedge. Um, you know, so if you actually look here, okay, that's my new average entry. I shorted like near the highs, a little bit lower actually, but I do think that degen is going to be one of my core positions for the next several months. But I didn't really just want to buy and blindly just say that, oh, this has to go up from here. I do think that it may be choppy, it may be rough over the next few months. So I was careful about it, trying to hedge my position. One of the only things that I feel like I'm really confident on, simply because it's directly under my control, is Roaring Kitty. Because, like I control 4% of the supply. I know a couple other people who also, have a decent amount of the supply. And I know they're not selling because, a lot of us really believe in meme coins and base chain and how it's growing. And we really think that Roaring Kitty could be that coin that could go much, much higher. And when we kind of step back and look at something like that, we see no reason, right? We see no reason why this cannot go into, much higher prices. Like our goal is kind of like this, right? Okay. That's the first big step. That 10 million mark is the first big step, and then 50. And then, in my opinion, once you break into the 100 million area, then I think it's game on, right? So that's really like how I see this, unfolding over the next several months. All right. These are my big goals up here. Don't look down here. Focus with a long-term vision of how hard we can work with Roaring Kitty and how much base is going to grow and how much the crypto market is going to grow over the next few months. And you'll be really surprised. You're going to surprise yourself and your portfolio. All right. Good luck, everybody. Take care. That was my update, really. If you have any questions, like I said, you could reach out to me on Twitter or find me on the Base Roaring Kitty Twitter page or our Telegram channel. All right. Cheers. Take care. And we will catch up real soon.